Welcome everyone, Limitless Potential Technologies here for another video. Today we're going to talk about free energy. By the end of the video I want you to understand what free energy is, why it's possible, and why this reality, ourselves, and our technology all have limitless potential, especially when fear and greed are not part of the equation. So for me, free energy is new technology that produces excess energy without input, or excess energy after the initial input, the initial technology is built. If we did not already have geothermal technology, geothermal energy, solar energy, hydroelectric energy, I would call those free energy to some degree. So free energy just means that it's a new type of technology and we're getting excess energy out of it. I went to school for electrical engineering and physics. I did this because of my interest in free energy. I spent my early years scouring the patents and all of the knowledge from previous generations and seeing that there was an abundance of suppressed technology. I'm very curious about that. And anyways, I knew that I wanted to release free energy, and that was my purpose in life. But in order to do so, I felt like I needed to have credibility and to, learn the basics of science. So I went to university for that, and I do have a degree in electrical engineering and a background in physics. There are professors at the university I attended, the University of British Columbia, who are very open to this. They also agree that there is the possibility of new technologies that produce an abundance of electricity. So there's Newtonian physics in science. Newtonian physics is particle physics. It's thermodynamic laws. They are applicable in Newtonian physics. It's a subset of reality. It's the physical reality that we're in. Quantum physics is a larger, all-encompassing. I like to think of it as this Newtonian physics as this physical reality, and then quantum physics as the conscious reality. Consciousness is part of the quantum physics, the quantum realm. Now, as a side note, in physics and in science, they are searching for a grand unified theory of everything. We do not yet have it according to modern physics, most likely because they do not include consciousness in their equations. I believe it's been written by a man called Thomas Campbell, most likely, and it includes consciousness. So the grand unified theory needs to include consciousness in order to describe our reality. Consciousness generates this reality. We can change the reality with our consciousness. So this is a type of simulation, I believe. Getting a little sidetracked, but nevertheless it's important because there's this physical reality in this Newtonian physics. Now in Newtonian physics there's thermodynamic laws. Thermodynamic laws state that you cannot have more energy out of a system than you put into a system, which I agree upon. There's most likely not perpetual motions machines operating in the Newtonian sense. Now, in a quantum reality, there is excess energy. If you type in vacuum energy on Google or ChatGPT, it'll show you that there is quantum energy. There's energy in the vacuum, in space. Quantum fluctuations. There's the Casimir effect, which is energy between two plates in vacuum. So anybody who tells you that free energy is impossible, that's not true. It's just you have to be in an open system, a larger system, right? Now, there's been papers written on sharp gradients. So sharp gradients in nature do not necessarily obey thermodynamic laws. What is a sharp gradient? Well, a lightning bolt, for example. Sharp gradient means change. So a very quick change does not necessarily need to follow thermodynamic laws. So in electricity, electromagnetic theory, E&M theory, electrical engineering physics, there's a thing we call back EMF. Now back EMF is a back electromotive force. So it should be used, I use it incorrectly sometimes to refer to the machines that we're doing, or in the collapsing magnetic fields in the coils, but in reality it should be used to refer to a continuous energy input into say an electric motor or a transformer. When you put energy in, there's a back flow of energy from that transformer or motor, and that's called back EMF. So when you turn on a motor, there's also an effect from the motor spinning, a generator effect, and that pushes back energy. So that's back electromotive force. Now, when you energize a coil and you collapse it very quickly, there's something called a flyback voltage. So in solenoids, when you turn them off, you need to have protection because of this flyback voltage. And in switches of all kinds, there's going to be a flyback voltage when you turn it off very quickly. So back EMF, flyback voltage, two different terms technically for the same phenomenon. One is instantaneous and one is ongoing. Now, in these machines, what we're doing is we're putting pulses of electricity into these coils. This pulse pushes the magnets or pulls the magnets, so we get the rotor to spin. The pulses that we put in, whether they're 12 volts or 100 volts, that is not the sharp gradient that's going to cause or disobey thermodynamic laws. When the field collapses and there's the flyback voltage, this flyback voltage is much, much sharper and much higher than the initial input voltage. This voltage itself is flyback voltage. I'm not saying the flyback voltage is excess energy. I'm saying that flyback voltage is a sharp gradient that smacks the vacuum energy, the quantum field. It impacts the quantum realm, and if you capture it very quickly, if you are able to switch very quickly when it collapses, there's excess energy coming from somewhere else. So it's coming from an open system. And most likely it's interacting with the quantum field, the 0 point energy. That's literally what quantum energy is called in the quantum vacuum energy. It's called 0 point energy. It's an accepted term. So if you work in normal time, just, continuous normal time, that's the kinetic Newtonian realm. There's no excess energy. But if we operate in very quick time, we're able to access the quantum energy, vacuum energy. The switches that we're using in this pulse motor design are able to turn on and off instantaneously. This allows us to capture that excess quantum energy, the vacuum energy that's coming from that sharp gradient that we're generating because of the flyback voltage. So the sharp gradient does not necessarily obey thermodynamic laws, gives us excess energy, is all due to the switching capacity, the ability to switch and capture this energy very quickly. We then feed it into lead acid batteries or a capacitor. By doing so, we are able to capture the excess energy. So that's how these machines operate. That's how this new free energy works, is because of very sharp gradients and very high switching speeds. We're able to capture excess energy. Where is this energy coming from? It's coming from an open system, most likely vacuum energy, 0 point energy. This is one way of capturing it. These machines are basically an infant in this technology. This is just all I can afford, but there will be other technology. There is other technology that captures quantum. Like, for example, there was a guy on Joe Rogan the other day. They have the ability to capture quantum energy, quantum fluctuations, in order to power nanotechnology, nano machines. So it is fact. This technology exists. We have the ability to capture it. This machine is just going to be one way of doing it. So I think I'm going to leave it there today for you. We'll have many other videos. We're going to get into everything from the connection between electricity, gravity, and magnetism, to more details on how this technology works. But overall, free energy is just a broad term. We've defined it a little bit narrower here for this channel. It's a new type of technology that operates outside of Newtonian physics in an open system. We're accessing energy from outside the system, so we're not breaking any thermodynamic laws. Thermodynamic laws apply to a closed system. We are not operating in that closed system. We're operating in an open system. How are we doing so? We are generating very sharp impulse functions, sharp gradients, because of a flyback voltage from a collapsing magnetic that we've produced from putting energy, a pulse, into. A byproduct of all of this is the rotation of the rotor. We're able to pull excess energy. There's excess work being done from this system. So overall, this system produces excess energy. I hope you enjoyed it. I love you all. There's nothing we can't accomplish. There's limitless potential in all of us, all of our technology and all things, and we need to work together in order to leak this technology out and spread it across the world, and that's what we're doing here on this channel. I got many more exciting videos. The machine's coming together very nicely. I'm going to make another video here this week to show you. We're making progress. This is going to happen by the end of summer into the fall. We're going to have this thing running and producing excess energy, and we're going to get out to you, the people, open sourced for the people, by us. I love you all. Talk to you soon.